All right, now I'm recording separately as well. All right, so
What's up, my brother? Yo, this is a different way. I like
yeah,
this.
like I said, this is I figured we could do it this way. As people know me, I'm Capri's the Fool. Let's do this.
Yeah. And for the people that know me, I'm M Joker G.
Oh, hey, Soren, how's it going?
Got Soren in the background. What's up, Soren?
Well, we got
You know, we the JTR family.
yeah, man. Journey to recovery, got that representing.
Yeah.
What? Yeah, man. So, today's topic we're talking about, energy and how the energy around you affects you, how the energy you put out into the world, comes back to you, all that sort of funness. So I'll let you start off first.
Feel the energy. Oh man. That's something I've been writing down on my little flyers. I send flyers out and said feel the energy. Feel the energy to me, man. It's like I feel the energy of everything. Like I feel the energy of Mother Nature. I feel the energy of the trees. I feel the energy of the grass. I feel the energy of people. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, dude.
I feel the energy everywhere. Once you learn to feel the energy, the world is such a different place to live. Because you know, you could feel the energy of like in a situation when someone's sick or something. You know what I'm saying? Like you can feel that. You get what I'm saying? But think of all the good things you can feel. You know, you know. Basically, feeling energy to me is crazy because I didn't know what that meant until a few years ago. What's feeling energy, man? You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah. I get
And
you.
and then like when you go in a hospital, you can feel all different energies. You get what I'm saying? You can feel the happy energy of someone just having a baby. You can feel the sad energy of someone just passing away. You get what I'm saying? So you feel that's why hospitals are very hard setting for people to sit in a waiting room. You get what I'm saying? Being in a waiting room is very for someone like me, I can't do it. I have to sit outside and tell them to page me when it's time. Because when I'm in a waiting room, I'm feeling everyone's energy. And it makes me sick sometimes because there's too much energy coming at once, you know. But like, so I go outside, and that's a place where I can release the energy. Being outdoor, if you start grounding yourself and being part of Mother Nature and feeling the energy of Mother Nature, you don't understand how powerful you get. I could sit. For example, I was somewhere in West Springfield, and I was on my cane, right, and I walked up a big ass hill, and I was in so much pain, bro, right? I mean, my back was killing me and everything. I laid. I see a tree, two trees is shaped into a V, right?
Yeah.
So I get in between the two trees, and I lay on my back on one of the part of the V's, and I put my hands and I hug the tree. I'm literally hugging the tree, bro. What they say, tree huggers. Yeah, I'm hugging a tree. But in reality, I'm my back is healing, bro. You get what I'm saying? Because there's so much energy into Mother Nature. Rocks have energy.
Oh,
A
yeah.
rock, a rock.
I mean,
You
there's a
know,
reason why people use crystals and gems and stuff like that to cleanse energy. I think they're called like shungites. I think that's what they're called.
yeah.
They use that to cleanse your energy and cleanse your area. And yeah, it literally does have energy, and everything has energy. That's just the rule of the world. It's just a matter of how attuned are you to picking it up. Is it negative energy? Is it positive energy? Is it
Yeah.
energy you want to absorb? Is it energy you want to reflect? Is it energy like that's the fun thing about energy. There's so much to do with energy, and even
Mm-hmm.
if you look at it, from like a scientific perspective, is you can't create or destroy energy. It just is. Like there's never more energy, but there's never less energy. It's just there's energy, and that's the same thing. It's it's like atoms, stuff like that. Like it's just a finite thing that's just there. It doesn't change. It doesn't grow. It doesn't deteriorate. It's just it changes into different forms, changes into different what you call it different polarities. So like positive, negatives, neutrals, and each person's sensitivity will react differently. Like I know for me, I'm not a big person to go to big crowded areas because, like you said, like it overwhelms me. I get flooded with so many different variations of emotion, and with especially with how I understand a lot of things, and I know like certain places I will not go. I will be like, no, I don't want to go if I don't have to. Like I don't really like going out to like like places like bars, concerts, stuff like that, because I pick up so much of the energy there, where it's usually people trying to run away from something. That's the energy I pick up, and
Yeah.
it's just an energy that I can't stand personally, where it's like, yo, you're running away from things. Like, I can't do it purely because most people who are running away from things, they're drowning themselves, in liquor, drugs, all sorts of, like, just all sorts of, random things. And to me, that's just, it's corrosive for me. And the longer I'm around it, the more I kind of like sit there and I'm like, I don't want to be around people. Like I get resentful towards people because of that sort of constant thing. And it's it's mainly that way because I can't stand like the fakeness. Like if I see someone who's like constantly putting up a front, always being like, yeah, everything's great, everything's so lucky. Like look at my great life, and I'm sitting there like that's bullshit. Yeah, no, I want nothing to do with you. Like I don't like that fakeness. I don't like that zero sum, like, oh, look at me, I'm so great type mentality, when really they're like, man, I hate myself. Like I can't do that. Like, and my entire nature too is that of reflection. Like I don't necessarily absorb energy as I used to. I reflect the most of it back
Yeah.
at people, and it's usually why a lot of people don't like being around me, because they can't bullshit around me. I just reflect it back at them. So like if people are genuine around me, they're gonna get a genuine version. But if they're constantly trying to pull some bullshit, pull some stupid nonsense, I'm gonna constantly be there like making fun of them type of deal. Like I'm gonna be, as they say, the jester. I'm gonna constantly be roasting. I'm gonna constantly be like doing things that will probably piss them off when they really start to like think about it and break it down. And I've lost some people who I was like, oh yeah, we seem chill, and just because of how I am and my compulsions, where it's like I don't even realize I do it half the time. I just do it, and I've lost people who I was like, oh, I thought we were cool, and I was like, obviously we weren't. They clearly didn't like me very much,
Yeah.
and to me it was just like I wasn't really like caring. I was just kind of like, okay, well that's a them issue, not a me problem. Whatever. I move on with my life. And I've also, it also allows me to understand, like, like even like relationships. I can understand, when there's this underlining tension here, when there's this underlining tension there. I can pick up on those things where it's like, what's going on here? Like, why does this feel so like weird? Like, Even like if it's just like, oh no, we're friends. And it's like, I don't know. You're giving off some sort of like weird vibe, and I don't know if it's like resentment or if it's there's you want something more. Like you can pick up those types of things, and I know for me it's when you read energy, sometimes you can't read necessarily what it is because the person's going through like a bunch of different things all at once. So you're picking up a slew of energy, and you're like, all right, which one is which? Like what's going
Yeah.
on here? So you got to kind of like sit there and decipher. So I've always made the thing where I'm like, I'm great at reading people. I can understand, that when there's something wrong with a person, but I can't always pinpoint like what's the cause. Like, what is your root problem? Like, just tell me. Like, is this or that? Like, obviously there are times where I'm like, yeah, no, I can tell like from a mile away what's going on. Like, okay, I know what's going on with this person. I know why they're doing this, why they're doing that. And it's easy. Other times I'm like, I have absolutely zero understanding of what the hell is going on, where I'm like, I just know something is off. Like your energy is all going haywire, and it's just no. I'm like, just no. Okay. And even if you look at me like as a person, I know I'm an avoiding person. Like my way of avoiding things is I just disappear. Like I'm like, nah, I go into my shell,
Yeah.
and I'm like, nope, go into my
Yeah.
shell, and I
Yeah.
organize things that way. I know some people, their way of dealing with, they could be the same type of thing, avoidant, but theirs is, instead of going into a shell, their shell is more, I'm just gonna distract myself with busy work. I'm gonna keep, I'm gonna grind harder. I'm gonna jump, like dive into work. And that's a lot of things that a lot of men do too. They'll dive into, hitting the gym, like after a big breakup. They'll dive into, the work. They'll become giant workaholics, all to avoid, the pain and the misery that, comes with emotion, because it's a lot easier to deal with physical issues than it is with mental ones. Like, there's a reason why there's so many people who, resort to, drinking, resort to drugs, resort to all sorts of other means to, alleviate that mental stress in the physical, because it's so much easier to deal with that versus, taking the time to say, no, I'm going to take the time and deal with this mental issue first. And it's something that I've always been someone who, I've always made like the joke. I've always seen memes where it's like, when you're going through life, with like alcohol, weed, cigarettes, nicotine, zincs, all that type of stuff, and it's just like, it's the mech from Pacific Rim just bringing the thing, and it's like, and you're just going through, you're just dealing with life with sheer unadulterated anger, and you're just like, yeah, no, I know what that feels like. Life is fucking hard, dude. Like, that's one of the things that I say. Life
Life,
has very few guarantees, and one of the guarantees is you're gonna go through shit. Like, one way or the other, you're going through shit. Like, it's not
you
gonna
are
sit there and be
going.
like,
There's
nah.
no getting out of it. There's no getting out of it.
And that's why I think like energy is so like important. Is the more you start to understand it, you start to realize like, okay, what aligns with my energy, and how can I further
How to keep your
affect
energy
it.
to stay in control. Keep it. That's great. I love that I'm able to do this. Because like you said, now you know what energy to keep away from. You know what I'm saying? You can feel bad energy from down the street. You know, you start fucking things will start getting, like you start feeling. I get weird feelings in my body. You know what I'm saying? I, for example, I get an anxiety sometimes when I have like a negative energy around me.
Okay, give me 1 second, Mike. Apparently they cannot hear you on here for some reason.
Oh, you can't hear me?
No, I'm gonna see what's going on there. It's something to do with the live. Let me see here. Yeah, this is just the first time we're doing this, so it's a little bit different. Okay, let me
We're gonna be
see.
doing it a lot though, so get ready, people. Once
Yeah,
you
that's
hear me,
that's definitely something that we gotta figure out. All right, YouTube, like, give me something to work with here. I swear, every time this stuff is always wonky, man.
yeah, that's what happens, bro.
Yeah, well,
We gotta feel
like
the
I said, this is
energy.
this is the first time we're doing it, so let me stop sharing. Let me see if I can. Where is it?
Oh, look,
There we
I'm
go. Okay, talk now.
yo,
All right, can you hear him now, King?
yo, 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 yo.
'Cause I think I fixed it this time. I'm not 100% sure. All right, so okay, yeah, no,
Can
I completely understand it, King, like 100%. Like, all right, but you
you
can
hear
hear
me
Mike,
now?
right? Am I talking, Mike?
I can hear it. Can you hear me?
All right, yeah, we're good. We're good. All right, King said we're good. All right, I fixed out the issue. I
All
forgot to
right.
add in the screen share option to share audio. So, me being stupid.
So,
Well, yeah.
wow, I have a lot that I said that no one heard.
Hey, on the bright side, I recorded this on my end, so it's all recorded. I'll just, I'll upload this after we're all done. So, hopefully,
It's
what
fun.
everybody missed, they can get it at the end.
Well, we're here though. We having fun, right?
All right, all right. Small little technical error. We fixed it. Thank you, King. I appreciate you. All right. All right.
That's what happens. You got to learn, right?
Yeah, I mean, hey, first try. At least we're gonna make mistakes. It happens. So positive
We could
energies, man.
only
It is
get
what it
better.
is.
We only get better.
Oh yeah. I mean, I think, like I said, I think for the meantime, I think this is pretty solid. Setup we got here. It works. It's easy. Obviously, we'll have some times where we'll get together, like in person and stuff. But when we're not together, we could easily do it this way. And now that I got it working, I can
I
do it this
like it
way.
this way. This way it's cool because I'm in my own little studio.
Yep.
You know, I got music in my headphones at the same time I'm doing talking to you. So like you can't hear the music, but I can hear it like
Oh
in,
yeah.
in my headphones. But like you know me, listen to the beats.
Oh yeah. I've been listening to some like this Japanese like instrumental like hip hop stuff, dude. I gotta send that to you. Like it's honestly pretty fire, dude. Like good stuff.
Yeah,
It's quite vibes.
definitely.
But yeah, so pretty much as we were talking, energy and and how like important that is. Ah man, I'm trying to remember where exactly we left off. We were talking about energy. Let me think here.
But
Oh, alignment. That's what it is. Energy alignment. There it was. That's where
yeah,
we kind of
that's
left off.
yeah.
And yeah, like I say, like being able to align your energy, with that, your surroundings, figure out what things, work with you, what things work against you, and then also figuring out why they work against you, and doing all that, that inner work. I think that's some of the strongest things you can do, just like in general, because like most people avoid the inner work. Like it's hard. It's not easy. It's not pretty. You're having to deal with a lot of like yourself. I know like the psychologist Carl Jung. He always talks about like getting yourself into alignment is like the goal, where it's like forming complete like a complete self of like what he calls the shadow self, where it's like the repressed speak English, the repressed version of yourself, and aligning that with who you are, and putting that into your entire self with integration, and learning to accept that, like, yeah, you're not this perfect person. You can't just be like this societally curated individual. Like you'll have your ups, you'll have your downs.
Exactly. What is a perfect person? There is no such thing as a perfect person.
Now, I always say perfection is not a state of being, it's a state of doing. As long as you are constantly looking to improve yourself, congratulations, you are perfect. Once you stop, that is when you are imperfect.
Yeah.
That has been my philosophy. That will always stay my philosophy, because that's the only way you can be perfect. You can only be perfect when you're always in a state of like, I'm learning, I'm growing, I'm improving. Why? Because it shows you that yes, you're never going to be at like done. You just aren't. Like the more you know, the less you know. Like that's just how it works. So it's when people constantly say like I am perfect, I am like, oh, I've already reached it. Those people, like, it's what people call like stupid, where they think they know everything. You can never argue with them. You can never actually like have a
Oh
debate,
my God, I
because they're
hate
the
those people.
worst.
I hate that. You try to tell them a story and they got to come up with another story that makes your story like don't like I'm saying it's like it's like it's just 10 times worse their story because it's got to be so dramatic.
Yeah,
You know, it's
and
and then when you try to say something, they're like they try to argue with you that they know know it. I had this one person, bro, like he used to try to tell me things. I was with him and this and that, like, and try to tell me things that I supposedly did, which I know is never true. And because I call him people like that, like I call them typical liars. Where they just make up stories and he makes up the story so much that he believes his own lies. You know what I'm saying? And to that to this we haven't talked in a while, but I wonder how he's doing. You
yeah,
know,
like I've always been the type of person too, where like I'm not someone who's like, oh, your struggles don't mean anything. It's like, no, your struggles mean something to you. That's
yep,
true. It doesn't mean, like, at the end of the day, technically it doesn't mean anything to me, purely because they're not my struggles. Like there's always
yep.
going to be that disconnect, no matter how closely related and substance it is. There's always still a level of disconnect. Like for me, I've understood that like people can also fall in love with like a wound that they have. For example, like there's the victim mentality. I despise that with so much of my being, purely because you are always going to find a way to be a victim. if you live like that. Like when I was a kid,
Oh,
that was
yep.
something that like even I struggled with. I can admit, like when I was younger, I did have a bit of a victim mentality where I was like, oh, my parents always favored my brother, or I could never match up to my brother. Like, and I realized like, why the fuck do I care? Like, why am I comparing myself to like
Exactly
why am I
right.
robbing myself of my own potential by constantly trying to compete with someone who there's one, no competition, two, if I feel like I can never win, it's just dumb to do. So why am I doing it? And you come to the realization of, yeah, why the fuck am I doing that shit? Like, it's only hurting me at the end of the day. If I want to sit here and say woe is me all the time, you're never going to improve. You're
Exactly.
always going to be
And
woes.
guess what that is? Go right back to energy. That's a wasted energy.
Oh yeah.
It's wasted energy. Getting mad, getting angry, all that. That's waste of energy. That's energy. You're making your body in more harm being mad at somebody.
I always say it's a waste of energy if you don't utilize it. If you're just sitting there like, I'm so mad, fuck this guy, like,
Yeah, exactly.
and
That's
no,
exactly
if you're
what I
like, I'm
mean.
so mad, this guy's talking down to me, treating me like shit. You know what? Fuck that. I'm going to improve myself. So now he can't talk shit. And if he does talk shit, it's just bullshit, and that's a him issue. Like that's always been my
Exactly.
mentality. Is if I get mad, if I'm frustrated at something, I'm going to work my ass off to prove you wrong. And if you still talk shit at that point, and you're still like, you ain't good enough, like you ain't gonna be like this, like they're contemplating, I'll be like, good. That's not a me issue. Like that's a you issue. Like you have the issue here now because I've already decided to rise above it. Like I understand. Like I'm not perfect. Like I'm dyslexic as fuck. Nobody's gonna say I'm not. I suck at spelling. That's never going to change. However, I
Huh.
found workarounds. I will never use that as like, oh, oh well, I did this because I'm dyslexic, so you got to cut me some slack. No, I joke about that shit. I'll be like, bitch, I spelled that wrong. Yeah, I'm dyslexic, so I'm more efficient than you are. Like that's all it is I learned how to be efficient. Suck it,
Yeah.
dude. And it's a joke. And you gotta laugh at that type of stuff. Like that's just how I am. Where I've learned to laugh at people who have shit on me, people who are doing that. I robbed them of that weapon. I'm like, nah, this is my weapon now. You want to make fun of me? You want to be like, oh, you're black. You like watermelon? Damn right I do. Watermelon is fucking delicious, dude. Have you had it? If you haven't, then no shit. Like it's just that simple. And that's always what I've been like, dude. It's like you take other people's, insults, things, and use that as your own energy. You recycle that. It's like, you want to dog on me, you want to treat me like this, you want to treat me like that. Great,
See,
fantastic. Give me that energy because I'll take your negative energy and I'll turn into a positive. I will recycle that shit all day of the week. I will use that anger to push me forward to do better. Like I think that's the most efficient way to use energy.
yeah, that's the
It,
way. Yeah, definitely for when it comes to like when you got the energy cross with somebody else's energy.
mm-hmm.
But like what I was saying was if the energy is with the energy within you, when you're like so when you're depressed, when you're angry, when all that shit, it's bad for your health. That
Yeah,
causes into a heart attack. That causes a lot of things. You could die from the bad energy.
yeah. And I know, like, like on the topic of like depression, like that type of energy, I always see that as it's a lack of purpose. Like a lot of like anxiety is a lack of self-confidence.
Uh,
Depression is a lack of like a direction, lack of purpose. Like you feel like there is no reason to do anything because you have nothing you want to actually do, and it's just you feel empty because you have nothing you're striving to do, nothing you're striving to achieve. You have nothing you're willing to risk everything for. And it's one of the reasons why I've looked at like a lot of people, even like in my life, who have so much that they're striving for, so much they're pushing for, and you're sitting there like, how the hell are they like not like trained? And it's because they're motivated to do more. Like a lot of my friends, like my high performing friends, they're always pumping things out, always doing this, and I'm always sitting there like, damn, dude, like they don't take breaks. And like they do take breaks, they just optimize the times where they're active to the like the utmost, and that's just their sense of purpose. Like they have learned to utilize that energy in such a manner that just propels them in such a force forward that it's insane.
yeah.
And like I don't even like sometimes you sit there and you're just like, damn. Like, and I know I always make the joke where I'm like, I cannot be depressed. I just can't. Why? Because I get too pissed off where I'm like, nah, life's hitting me too hard. I'm like, damn, it'd be so easy to just curl up in a ball and be like, man, I want to die. I just want to like, that's
Exactly,
it.
and
And
that's
my
what
entire mentality is, but if I do that, then life wins. And if life wins and I
exactly. Yeah,
lose,
yeah,
fuck that shit, dude. Nah, I'm gonna live the best life in spite of it. Like that's where I reach. Like I get to that point where I just talk myself up where I'm like, nah, live your best life in spite of it. Like if it wants to break you down, it wants to crush you, it wants to, give you the weight of the world. Cool. I can take it. Come at me, bitch. Hit me with another lemon. I'll burn your fucking house down, as the Smith Johnson once said. If
oh
anybody
man,
like plays Portal or anything, God, I love that meme. But like that's just my mentality, and I know for a fact no one else is probably that like gonna be doing that the same way. Why? Because that's just who I am. Like I can't be like do it my way. You'll find so much purpose in your life. No,
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 because
you
everyone,
fucking won't.
no, everyone has different way, a different way. You know, you could give like suggestions of things that might help, but like everyone, everyone, everyone goes a different way. Like you know what I'm saying.
Yeah,
Like
like the way I like the analogy I would use is like you can give people the fire, you can give people the wood, but it's up to them to light the fire. Like you can't
exactly,
do anything more than like here's a stack of wood, make a fire. Some people are gonna be like, cool, I have a lighter. Some people are gonna be like, oh, I have lighter fluid and and a lighter. Oh, I have two
yeah,
twigs, so I'm gonna rub them together. Like there's a lot of ways to start a fire, but
yeah,
all you can do is provide the stuff to burn. You can't
exactly.
give them the
Uh,
fire.
It's like you plant the seed and you can't expect to be watering it too. And people gotta water their own plant, their
Yeah.
own seed.
Like you can literally give them like a whole plant, be like, boom, I already gave it some water, here you go. But it's up to them to maintain it. Like they have to
Yeah.
keep watering, they have to keep doing, they have to like figure out like, okay, this is the type of day that works best for me. This is, the
Hmm.
best spot that gives it enough sunlight, this and that. This is the type of plant, I want. And it's purely up to them. Like it's the same type of mentality where like when people like will be like, oh, it's in God's hands. I'm like, it's in God's hands, but it's up to you to guide those hands. Like, God's not going to just sit there and, congratulations, everything's fixed. No, He wants you got to work for that. Like, you have to take action to make things happen. You can't just sit there and, pray and expect nothing. Like, no, you
Yeah.
got to pray and then put in the action and belief to do it. You got to put everything on the line to do it, and you can't just be like, well, I'm only going to
Yeah, you can't expect it just to come peacefully.
yeah.
You have to, you have to, you have to, go through the tough times. You know what I'm saying? You have to go through the struggles. You got to go through all this mental health that you go through because that's what makes you stronger. You know, God's not sending that to punish us. He's sending that to make us stronger. To so like every time a situation that you're upset about it, like I look into God for everything. You get what I'm saying?
Hmm.
If like say I get a flat tire driving down the road, instead of getting pissed, I'm gonna be like, God, stop me because who knows what would have happened. I put it to a different situation. I put it in God's hands. You know what I'm saying? And and it's been good. It's been good like that. Um, you know. See, I lost the train of thought.
Like I know for me, like I'm not really much of like I'm not a religious person. Like I can admit that, but
Yeah,
like
well, he's still young. We're a different age frame.
no, like I said, like for me, I'm not religious. I'm spiritual. That's how I've always described myself. Is I believe the world works in ways that you can't necessarily comprehend, and I don't try to fight it. I don't try to be like, oh, I'm gonna assert my thing. It's like no, I have presence, but I can't have presence on everything. Like I have presence on me, how I choose to see the world, how I choose to react to the world, and how I choose to carry myself in the world. I cannot assert my own type of beliefs onto you, just as you can't do the same to me. We each
Exactly.
have our own freedom to do that. Now we can influence each other, sure. Where I could say, "Hey, this is how I view things." You could be like, "Hey, this is how I view
Exactly.
things." Okay, there's things that connect. There's things that are different. Cool, great. Or
Yeah.
maybe there's something you say, and I'm like, "Damn, I actually like that. I'm gonna incorporate that into my system." And that's how I've always viewed things. Is my I like this, like even when I was a kid, my dad used to be like, you gotta think outside the box. I'm like, Dad, I don't think outside the box. The box is my playset. All right, that's where I put everything in. Like I get new information, cool, I'll put it in the box, and I'm on the outside looking for new things. That's
Yeah.
how I've always looked at it, where the box is kind of my playground of like, here's all the resources I've accumulated over the time, and now I can mix and match, play it like Legos, and build different things. Okay, I got a new piece. Okay, how can I use this piece to build this different thing? How can I do that? And like that's how I've always viewed my mind. Is it's never been something where I've trapped myself in the box. I've hated the box. I'm like, I hate this box. The box sucks. It's good for holding things, but it's terrible for being inside. Like you aren't
Yeah.
meant to be in a box. You're meant to
Yeah.
explore everything else. And I think that's one of the reasons why, like even for me, I've never feared death. Where I'm like, death is not like a thing I fear. I fear, the idea of, well, what if I live a life and I die, but I've literally done nothing. Like that's the fear, is I've done nothing worthwhile. Like I want to be like, no, I left my mark. I did this, I did that, and I was able to help people, do different things. Like that is more of a fear to me than, oh well, what happens after death? I don't give a shit what happens after death. What happens to death doesn't matter, because it's not, I don't see it as death. I see it as it's a different, different checkpoint. Like maybe you live another life again. Maybe you get reincarnated. Maybe you get, you live your life, but you make different decisions.
Yeah.
Maybe you've lived this life 1,000 times and now you're making different decisions than you made, the first 1,000 times. Or maybe, you get reincarnated as something completely different. Or maybe, all,
Like a bird. I'm gonna be a bird.
or maybe, or maybe, or if you want to, like the best way I always look at it is, you look at God as a central consciousness. Everybody has a spirit that's connected to the central consciousness, meaning you never die, but you also kind of never live, where you experience everything in your own experience based on who you are at this moment, but you're also, I'm you, you're me, well, we're Soren. Like everybody's the same individual living different experiences and interacting with different people, because we're all the same. We're all connected to that central, connection point. But because life is about experience, we are put in different experiences to experience things different. Humans are gonna experience things differently than a bird. A bird's gonna experience things differently than a frog. A frog's gonna experience things differently than a tree. Like, and that's
Yeah.
how I look at it. Where it's all about experience. And at this point, I'm me. I'm experiencing life through my vision, through my view, through how I understand things.
Yeah.
And it's
Everyone has.
complicated.
Yeah.
But that's how I look at it. Where it's like we are here just to experience things and go through life to experience.
Definitely. Those cookies looking pretty good right now.
You understand on my cookies? Like, yeah, I got them for like two for something. Like Big Y, and I just kind of had them. I
No.
just had them. I was like, oh, they're a good snack. Not really. I have like maybe one or two, and I'm like, okay, that's too much fucking chocolate. Never mind. Like I'm
Yeah.
sitting here, I'm like, yo, once we're done here, I'm gonna make some steak and potatoes, dude. Like that
That's
that is my meal. I had that for like I had steak for breakfast. I had steak and potatoes for lunch. Now I'm about to have steak and potatoes for dinner.
oh, there you go, man. That's a lot of steak. That's what I
You
need.
guy, I didn't feel like making eggs this morning.
Yeah.
But like I said, like yeah, like I think like as a whole, I think energy is just such a powerful thing to understand, because it's so vast and it has so much potential. You can transmute energy, you can absorb energy, you can reflect energy, you can some people can see energy. Like there's so much that comes with energy and understanding it. The more sensitive you get to that, the more you kind of almost open your eyes to so many different possibilities, different avenues.
Yeah.
And it's something amazing. Like I just think it's cool, man.
It took me 36 years to understand what the energy was about.
Yep. And hey, man,
That's what I mean, 36. And how old are you?
I'm 29.
See, and I'm 41 now. So like,
Uh,
so I'm 5 years of just learning. Like it's cool because like I like to learn things on my own.
I
And
mean, yeah.
it's good to learn. It's good to learn.
I mean, the way I looked at it is, it didn't take you what you said 5 years to learn. I think it just took you 5 years to be consciously aware. Because I think you always knew it. It just
To
never took the
understand it.
time to see it. If that makes
Yeah,
sense.
yeah, I get it.
Yeah. And like I said, like I, you could say, oh, I'm. You could sit here and be like, oh, you're ahead of the game. There's people who are probably younger than me who are, have seen things. I look at it as there's no too late time to kind of start to
Yeah,
feel
really.
things.
There's no. Everything happens at different times in life for different people. I know that.
Yeah.
You
And
know, some people already. My daughter's at the point where she got a lot of her mental health under control faster than I did. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
Like she's only 15 years old and she learns things that I'm just learning now. Like when it comes to certain things with mental health.
yeah. And I mean, like I said, you also got to ask about like who you have in your circle. Like if you have literally no one in your circle or just bad influences, it's gonna take longer. If you have people who are good influences, it's gonna be quicker.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously, if you're in a situation where you never had to ask those questions, you may never reach that point because you never felt like you had to. You're always, like it's the same thing where it's like, some people just never feel depression because they've never been in a situation where depression would, take place. Instead, they feel, they have other issues that like other people don't have. And like that's
Yeah,
just one of those things where it all depends on the person, all depends on their upbringing, their experience, how they interpret the world. And there are some people who just live. You look at them, you're like, these people just live like the perfect life. And now it doesn't necessarily mean they're like rich or anything like that, but they just live a life where it's like they seem like they just have it all, all together. And you're like, damn, like, you know, they're just vibing. They're vibing through life. And honestly, like, I think that's great. Like
yeah,
I've seen a lot of people in my days where it's like I've seen a lot of people make a lot of fucking mistakes. I've made plenty of mistakes, and yeah, look at how I turned out. Like when I was like young, I was a problem. I was a problem child. Now I'm over here in my I'm probably the least problematic child like on paper. Like I have my own issues. I can be a bit I don't know what's the word I can be I'm trying to think of the word. Can't think of the word. Mm, I guess you could. Yeah. It'll come to me at some point. But like, I have my problems like that I still go through. Where it took me till now to really start to just be like, nah, I, I've given myself permission to like be myself. Like, I guess you could say like fully aligning myself. There it is, because I've always been used to wearing masks. Just to fit in, get along with people, and not have to deal with things. So that was just my avoidance. Now I'm like, nah, I just fully embrace it. Like, if I need space, I'll take space. Like, whatever. Like I'm not gonna sit there and be like, hey man, can you like leave me alone? Like I'm like, nah, just dip. If you can't handle it, you can't handle it. That's a you issue, and whatever, because like that's just how
yeah.
I operate.
But yeah, man, this is beautiful. This is episode what, 2?
Yeah, that's technically episode 2. Yeah.
You know, we're just gonna get better and better.
Oh yeah.
For everyone watching, I don't know if anyone watching, but they're gonna watch it later. I want to say thank you.
Oh
For
yeah.
hanging out with us. We're not done yet. I don't know how much time we got.
I don't know. I was thinking we could end it like in a little bit here if you want, because I know I gotta do a few things. Well, I want to get a few things done, but I've been enjoying this, man. Like,
Yeah,
I don't even know how long we've been going. Probably an hour at this point, maybe an hour and a half. But either way, I think this would be a good point to clock it out. But yeah, we appreciate you guys for stopping by, and yeah, welcome to the Mindscape where we have fun.
Mindscape, baby. Definitely. Until next time.
All right, catch you guys later.
All right. Bye bye. Peace, love, and happiness.
All right. Oh,
That was good.
yeah, man. I don't even know if. Oh, yeah, I probably should stop over